on the children of Edom, on white people. Like, it's not going to be fun and games at that time. Eventually, it's going to be like a civil war. It's going to be race wars.
That's right.
That's what it's coming to, because we're going to be the purge in real life. They're going to start it, because that's what the white man does. He likes to start wars. He's been starting the purge. It's just we're too scary to do anything about it. They kill us every day, and we say nothing. But if I step on well, not one of these brothers. If I step on one of those brothers' shoe, he's gonna come to my house and want to shoot me. And then I'm gonna come to his house with my boys, and it goes on and on and on and on. But when a white man rapes your daughter or kills one of your people, you say no hands up, don't shoot, or something like that. And that you forgive them now. You want to give them a hug when they come in your house and shoot you, and then after a week we forget about it until it happens again. But it happens perpetually. It happens over and over and over. Read.
There's a book of Micah, chapter 5, verse 15. And I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard.
So he's gonna act. You heard what he said? After we turn that off. So after we're done fishing for men, it's time for vengeance, and the children of Israel are gonna have that vengeance. Read what you got.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art destroyed, happy shall he be that reward of thee, as thou hast served us.
So it's gonna be happy. We're gonna be happy to do these things to them because they did it to us. Like a stranger come up to you and slap you, first thing you're gonna do is slap them back, right? But we don't feel that way about our captors, because right now you in captivity. You're still a slave. You don't have your own money. You don't have your own banks. You don't have your own land. You don't have your own government. You don't have anything but what the white man gave you.
Exactly.
That's right.
And all he gave you was evil things. Read on.
Verse 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone.
So it's going to be a happy day when I can take a little white baby right out of the hands of his father. See, the devil, when we talk about the devil, he come. So I'm going to take his child by the foot and bash him against a stone. Break his head open. Sounds real bad, right? Why would I want to do that? So you didn't listen to anything we said. This is why I want to do it.
You do evil for evil.
Yes.
Scripture says it's righteous.
And that's not evil, that's vengeance. You see that? They did that to us. You know what they did to us? When you what?
Hey, if you stick around, I'm gonna teach you all about the white man.
When the Native Americans, when they were being led off into slave camps, that's what a reservation is. It's a slave camp. When they slowed down the line, you know what the white man did? He took the pregnant woman, hung her upside down, cut her stomach open, took the little baby, and bashed his head against a stone. I just asked you, if somebody slap you, the first thing you're going to want to do is slap them back.
Sometimes they would feed the baby to the dog.
Precept. I got a precept.
Read it.
This is what he just said. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 10. Yet was she carried away, she went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces.
So our young children were dashed in pieces. Like just like we were just saying, when the white man comes and shoots you, you say, hands up, don't shoot. You do all that, but you don't really want vengeance. At all. The white man wants vengeance for no reason at all, for anything. Pearl Harbor, you destroyed some battleships, I'm gonna destroy some people, some children. They in Iraqi land where all them wherever them people are, Arabs are, and they're destroying people. They're destroying churches, schools, hospitals. You're killing babies in their houses. I don't care about them, but it's the fact. The white man go out and get his vengeance, but you don't want vengeance on him. You want to know why? Because you have Stockholm Syndrome. You have a mental disease right now, a block. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. You're not the only one that had it. Like most of us here had that. I never had. I always hated white people. So I'm happy for that. So We have that. We have to get that cloak. We have to get that.
He had a question first.
Okay, let me finish with the sister. Can I finish talking? Order. So anyway, we have to get that back. We can't be holding hands with him. He's a devil. He got us out of order. He has you guys out of order right now. We're gonna get to that, but y'all out of order right now. Go ahead, read what you got.
I'm gonna read from the top. Yet was she carried away, she went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets. And they cast lots for her honorable men. And all her great men were bound in chains.
So all the great men were bound in chains. They bound all the great men in chains. If you were a strong brother, they're going to put you in chains. If you were a strong brother, they're going to get all the other slave owners that were around, and they're going to rape you in front of your wife and your kids and every other slave, so that the slave will know not even the strongest amongst you can come before us. And that's how we still act today. If we was just some regular Jake, all of us had our piece right behind us, and a white man came around, we would run. Back in the day, you next to the trap house, you gonna run. As soon as the white man come with, he got one little pistol, you got an AK-47, you running. But let me come into a group, let me go over there and say, yo, what's up? They gonna destroy me right there and then. But we scared of them. See them? The devil right there? We afraid of them for no apparent reason. They're feeble. Everything about them is feeble and evil. You shouldn't fear them. You should know, you should be bold enough to look him in the face and say, you the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right!
You have more on that? Oh, okay. All right, read your precept. You got the mic.
Deuteronomy 30. It's Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations.
So you see, it said consider the years of many generations. It said don't say that's the past, because that's not the past. This just happened. They just choked that man to death on live television, and ain't no white man went to prison for that. None of them got choked out. Nothing happens to them. They killed some fun themselves, not guilty. Read that. Read.
Zechariah.
No.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
All right, read your precept.
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
So it's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation to those who trouble you. Those who do these things to you, it's righteous for you to want revenge for that. All of my slaves are going to have this, and they're going to have one hand because I'm going to cut their other hand off and all their toes off. And they got to pick cotton. And that's righteous. There's nothing wrong with that. Read what you got.
Precept. Teach you how to pray. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
She's not listening up.
You listening, sister? Hey, let us teach your sister.
I also have a question too, brother.
Okay, y'all got questions. We dealing with a matter. Everything is done decently and in order. We're not going nowhere. We'll be here all night. Read.
But I will have you know. So this is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you to know that the head of every man is Christ.
Listen, hold on. See, they having their own conversation. Hey, brothers. Hey, let's let the sisters hear the word. We talking to them right now. I promise you. All y'all questions gonna get answered. Be patient, Jay. Be patient.
Hey, when we're in school, we have respect for the white lady that's saying something. We got respect for the white man that's saying something. But as black men, we don't have respect for ourselves. Like when you see a black man talking, you shouldn't speak. Like when one of y'all are gonna talk, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna interrupt you, because that's disrespectful. When we have to learn how to be kings amongst each other. When I greet one of these men, I call him king. When I see him right there, I call him Adawan. I have respect for other black men. We have to learn to have respect for other black men. I'm going to answer your question. If I don't answer your question, he will. But in the meantime, we're trying to deal with a point. It's not that I'm just answering her question. She already had her question answered. You see these cameras? We're edifying for the children. See these mics? We're edifying for people who are just walking. They hear and they might stop and listen. So y'all gotta take the selfishness out of your mind and let us just deal. Okay? Read.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know, the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
You believe that, sister? You don't believe that? You have a father? Were you raised with your father? So he left you? So is that why you don't believe that the father is the head of the household?
I just don't believe that. Like, do y'all women not have a voice?
What?
Do y'all women not have a voice?
Yeah, they have voices.
Well, why aren't they up here speaking with you all? Like,
Because it's for the man to teach.
Nah.
So you don't believe in the scriptures?
I mean, that would make y'all superior,
Yeah.
but you're not.
So, wait. So should we go by your understanding or the Most High's understanding? Huh? Who told you that?
You said we all equal?
Who told you
Like,
that?
y'all believe men are superior than women?
Okay, I'm asking you a question. Who
Right.
told you that?
That's what I believe.
But who taught you that?
Nobody has to teach you that.
Somebody taught you that.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Little Kim taught you that.
I'm not even.
What's the other girl's name? The one that's cool now? Nicki Minaj? The new one. The Dominican chick.
Cardi B.
Cardi B taught you that.
My job.
Love and hip hop taught you that. Rap music taught you that. The white woman taught you that. When she gave you feminism. Yeah, but see, all of that, Lauryn Hill and all that.
Not no more.
Slut. All of that traces back to the white woman who got it from the white man that taught you to be a feminist. You're a feminist?
I am a feminist.
And what does that mean?
Like, but
What does that mean?
That we're all equal. I just don't believe that y'all are superior. to
Okay,
me.
feminist women don't believe that we're equal. You believe that you're superior to men.
Exactly.
No, I do not believe. No, that's. No,
One thing you're not a
that's y'all
feminist.
difference. Huh? Go ahead.
You're not a feminist then.
No, that's not. That's
Feminists
what
by
y'all have
definition
men
believe that the
believe.
man is below the woman and that the woman should be running everything.
No.
And that the woman should
Let me give you a
rights
bit of
either
advice.
equal or above the man. That's by etymological definition of the word feminist.
Let me give you a bit of advice. If you say you believe in something or you stand by something, you got to learn what that thing is. Because
That's your definition. We all have our own definition.
no, you can't have your own definition.
Now you being like the white man.
No, I'm not
They
saying
make
like
up
the
their
white
own
man,
definitions.
but I mean, I'm here for knowledge, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, I'm here to listen, but I don't agree with a lot of what you're saying. So,
Well,
I mean,
we
it's
knew
all
that-
about sharing. I'm gonna take away from this experience, and I guess y'all take away something from me. But I don't have to agree to respect your, beliefs or whatever. But,
No, you don't.
right. So
No, you
I'm
don't.
just here listening. Like, we all have we can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we
somebody
all
give me
here sharing
2/3.
knowledge.
Yeah, so I knew that you didn't respect what we were saying just because of your mannerism when you came around. But huh?
What was my mannerism?
Read. Your mannerism was that of a feminist.
This is Proverbs, Khan. This is Proverbs chapter 8 and 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. So, all we're doing is trying to give you wisdom, sis. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. I'm listening,
So,
but what
look.
I don't understand.
Hold on, I'm gonna break it down for you, right?
Go ahead.
Because you probably don't want to tell us wherever you got the notion of feminism, right? That we're all equal. But I'm gonna tell you that before 1972, that whole notion wasn't in no black woman's mind on the place, like, on the planet Earth.
Right. Go ahead.
I promise you it wasn't. In the cotton field, so y'all was wearing dresses, y'all was thinking that your husband was over you until the slave master started giving y'all gifts, right? If somebody pull Ecclesiastes 7:7, we don't even have to, right? It says that the gift destroyed the heart at the very end, right? Oppression make a wise man mad, and the gift destroyed the heart. So y'all were basically giving gifts like pearls and stuff like that while you were in slavery, right? And you were given the opportunity to sleep with the slave master, which gave you. Well, I'm telling you that even though they took advantage of the woman, they also gave the women a certain advantage.
That's right. There's even books you can learn about that. They even teach it in the schools, right? Me and her learned it in African American Studies classes at Georgia State University. So, basically, it's something that is proven that the whole welfare thing, where they had y'all kicking the man out the household, all that stems from slavery and the power that they were giving you guys back then. If that never happened, you wouldn't have the mindset that you don't need a man for nothing and that everybody's equal. Because before the white man gave you guys a certain amount of power in slavery, after they were butt raping us and stuff like that in front of you guys and then sleeping with y'all and then telling us that we have to ask you guys for stuff, right? That's the type of power they were giving us. So then it became you guys were basically looked at as the head of the household because the slave master was giving you more power than we had.
The big mama spirit.
There it is, the big mama spirit, right? That's why there's such thing as a big mama. It comes from the slave plantation. Big mama was usually the woman who at a young age was the one that got to sleep with the slave master, and she got the power to be over everybody on the plantation, including the men, right? And as she got old, she became the grandma that got to breastfeed the slave master's kids, right? She became the woman that got to nanny, mammy, not nanny, but mammy, right? So, yeah, like the nigga said in the videos earlier, right? So, that's basically what it is. All this is basically, it's a stem of Stockholm Syndrome, but it goes just for the black woman, basically because of slavery. That's basically what we're trying to tell you. If you didn't have that mindset, if all that stuff didn't happen, then y'all wouldn't have the mindset to think like that. Because even the women's right movement, right? Y'all didn't have no problem with your rights before the white woman brought you guys into the movement. They brought Angela Davis into it, right? And Angela Davis got a bunch of black women to get behind her. But really, if you go back and you look at the facts and statistics and the little, what do they call it, surveys they were doing with black women back then, all of them say that y'all were happy with what you guys were doing and where you were at, right? And most of them, honestly, were housewives back then.
I mean, wasn't that all that they knew? Like, wasn't that all that they knew what they were doing? So when they got
Wait, you said what all did they do?
No, I said wasn't that all that they knew? You said that they were happy, right? You said that the black woman was happy with what they were doing.
By lack of knowledge.
Yeah, they were happy basically, but they were happy being like not head of the household is what I'm trying to say. Like during the 50s, during the time when Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were around, they were like under their man in the household. There was a certain level of respect that we had. It was the same as the white man's house, right? But the thing happened was World War II. Everybody got sent to the war. The Vietnam War happened and all that type of stuff. And you guys start getting the same privileges as the white woman because the white woman was trying to bring you guys in to make their movement bigger.
Can I ask you a question? You have a man?
Nah,
Why?
because that's not my thing.
What's your thing?
Not men.
Yeah, I had that feeling too. So, where did you learn that?
I didn't have to learn it. I didn't have
You
to
had to
learn
learn
No,
it.
I didn't.
Get that scripture.
You think you was born that way?
This is where I leave
Why you gotta leave?
Why?
because I don't
We've never
believe
been
in
able to
that.
have a conversation about this.
We haven't. Wait, y'all haven't in like.
Yeah, we want to have a
open?
conversation. I want to get to know where that mind state comes from.
It's not a mindset. I mean, it wasn't. I do believe that I was born this way, but I'm pretty sure that y'all would tell me that I was born a different way. But I mean, it's all love. Like, what you gonna tell me? What you said? What you said we was wrong or something?
So you telling me you was 5 years old on the playground when kids was talking about cooties?
He said wrong.
Out of
Hey
order.
sis. So you tell me you was 5, or I'm not gonna say 5. You was 7 years old on the playground in elementary school. Kids was talking about cooties. You know what I'm saying? And
Right,
you
you
was
talking about cooties, right?
you was looking at girls and stuff.
I've never dated a guy,
Ever?
ever.
Have you ever thought a guy was attractive?
I mean, I feel like y'all attractive, but I don't have to want to be with you.
Huh?
I feel like y'all attractive, but I don't have to want to be with you.
Hey, get the scripture.
Esau
You
is
got it?
satisfied. Esau
Who
has
got it?
accomplished his mission.
Change the truth to God into the left.
Read it.
Hey,
Ask you a
Isaiah
question.
5 and
You got Romans 1?
You said, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, let him ask his question.
I can't. I don't want to speak too long because I know this brother want to say something. He want to say something real bad. But look, I just want to ask you something. I know little boys that don't know that they're supposed to like girls. They're not born knowing, like, I'm supposed to like girls. Like their fathers, their uncles, their brothers let them know, like, you're supposed to have your little girlfriend. Hey, look, hey, she pretty, give her a kiss. We instill it in them over time to let them know that this is, they see mommy and daddy, if they have the luxury, mommy always kissing daddy always patting on her behind. I need me a girl. And it becomes conditioned. Listen to what I listen.
That's what we're trying to say.
I can't speak too loud.
That's the point.
So it's social conditioning that teaches a little boy that he's supposed to be with a girl. He doesn't come out of the womb need female, must have female. Like he doesn't. It's not a robotic thing. So when brothers ask you, why do you feel that you was born that way? We challenging that idea because we don't believe a little girl comes out of her mother knowing that I'm supposed to give birth and have sex with a man. Like, she doesn't know that. She has to learn that through social conditioning. So we believe that the concept of being a lesbian, we believe that that's a learned behavior. That's where we come from.
Well, what basically, I'm gonna put it like this. If you go back and do your research on it, it's probably something I'm sure you wouldn't want to do because of the lifestyle. But if you go back and do your research on it, before recently, scientists weren't saying that it was something that was a born condition, right? That's a recent thing because now black people are waking up to the truth, and what they've been trying to do since Planned Parenthood is trying to stop us from having kids. So now, what the deal is I don't know if you realized, but since about 2005, since Katrina, it's become a big thing for homosexuality to be shown in social media. And since about 2008, 2010, it's become rampant, right? So now there's TV shows with it, when before, you'd never find something like that on the TV. So you'd never find something like that on social media. So I'm telling you, based on, it's facts. If you go back, what TV shows had homosexuals on it before 2005? Before Real World and MTV, who the hell was putting homosexuals on TV?
How old are
That
you?
doesn't mean that.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh, you kind of young. So when I was young, being homosexual, it wasn't cool. We had songs about it. We went to the club.
So I'm asking you, what changed?
What do you mean? What changed?
What changed?
Why is being gay cool?
Why is being gay cool now?
You have to ask people who feel like gay is cool. I've been this way my whole life, so it's.
But this is what we're trying to. But this is what I'm trying to say though. Even though it might not be a fad for you, it's still a learned behavior, whether you want to accept it or not. Because you weren't 5. You just told me you weren't 8 years old looking at women. I asked you that question for a reason. I'll say it.
You say were they on the playground playing with cooties or whatever? I never said that I wasn't attracted to girls at a young age.
Do you want to have children?
Yes, I do want to have children.
How you gonna
have children with a girl?
We can still have children.
How?
We don't have to like
How?
artificial insemination, whatever.
Society gave you the opportunity to have children, but
Absolutely, that doesn't mean
right. What does that do to the child that you raised though?
What you mean? They're gonna still have love and everything that they need.
That's not
really?
love. That's not love. Hold on. Like you
Can
said,
the child really get the nourishment they need from 2 mothers?
Yes.
if you have a son, what is he gonna learn?
He gonna learn what
Real family is really fucking up.
He's gonna learn to be a man.
So like,
Yes.
No, he's gonna learn to be a
I had
homosexual.
a brother, and my brother was a successful man with 2 moms.
What?
oh, so you had 2 moms.
I did have 2 moms.
Oh,
But that wasn't-
so it's a learned behavior. You grew up with homosexuals, and that's why you think it's okay. It's a learned behavior.
Okay, do we mind sharing you? She had a mother and father, and she's a lesbian. Like, what does that have
Yes,
to do?
but were you a lesbian your whole life?
Hey, bring out the scriptures.
No. So it was a learned behavior. That's the point I'm trying to make. Whether you want to accept it or not.
Said I was heterosexual either, though.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
You still like the penis at some point in your life. Which means at some point, your brain was wired to work the same way. The correct way.
Hold on. What he said is, it might sound a little vulgar, but y'all lesbians, right? I used to deal with a lot of lesbians. Y'all use strap-ons. So, oh, you don't?
No.
All right, so a lot of lesbians, all right, whatever. A lot of lesbians do. Your mind is telling your body to do something it's not meant to do. You know that, right? Yes, your body. You were made to have a man. Our parts go together.
Can I ask you a
Your
question?
parts do not go together.
Can I ask you a question right quick?
In the 60s, your whole way of thought process was deemed as a mental
I have an
retardation.
important question, and then it'll answer.
Your whole, before the 60s, your whole mind concept, how y'all think, used to be called a mental condition. Read the prison.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 23. It's like in verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination.
So it's an abomination to be a homosexual.
Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself with another. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion.
So he's correlating sleeping with an animal to like sleeping with another is the same sex. It's called an abomination.
Yeah.
They're making it equal. What you're doing is equal to having sex with an animal. It's just an abomination. Let them read the rest.
Verse 24. Defile not thyself in any of these things.
So the Most High God told you not to defile yourself. You're defiling yourself.
For in all these the nations are defiled, which I have cast out before you.
So all of these things, the nations, our people, are destroyed. Like, it might sound like we're being mean to you. We're not being mean to you. This is love. This is like, if you had a cousin that was a crackhead, you would say, "Get off that crack. You going off." So we're trying to tell you, y'all two separate. Be friends and go find yourself a man. I don't
Let me
know.
ask you a serious question. I got a serious question for you real quick. Serious question, right? As soon as I asked this question, Lula, check me out. He had a question too. Lula, check this out. My only question is this: if there weren't any doctors and the type of special inventions that we have right now, right, that could give you guys, the type of scientific inventions we have now that could allow y'all to transfer eggs and transfer sperm and all that type of crap to have children, right? How would you guys be able to help your race of people, your nationality of people progress with having children and procreate? How would that be natural, you two being in a relationship like this?
Well, one, we're friends.
Well, no.
I get what you're saying. I mean, I guess we just wouldn't have children, but there's a such thing as adoption. I mean, my options are...
If there was no such thing as adoption, I'm talking about if there was no third-party option, how is your lifestyle sufficient for us to procreate and be fruitful as a people?
It would just be the two of us. And that's fine with me.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, even though that's fine with you,
Right.
it's not natural, and you can't say it is for that very reason. That's the reason why I mentioned what I mentioned earlier about it being not being a thing that was cool in society until like 2010, because we didn't get this type of inventions, this type of things where we could transfer eggs into the early 2000s, right? People weren't doing that in the 80s, right? All they had was adoption. So once the adoption thing fails at some point, most people don't want to adopt a kid that isn't theirs, that doesn't have their biological makeup, could have some type of disease, could go crazy, could be schizophrenic, anything like that, right? So, so like, if there wasn't that, it's an option, because you have to understand, all that stuff became an option also for them to mess us up. That's why you see white people walk around with black kids, right? It makes us grow up a certain way to like them and feel a certain way about them so that they never come into this truth, right? The same way them putting homosexuality on television, letting transsexuals come to people's schools and read and stuff like that to the children and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? They make books like My Mommy, Her Wife and I, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, and they read it in the schools to try to make our kids be socially conditioned to think that their lifestyle is okay when it wasn't like that in the past.
The gay BCs.
Right, the gay BCs.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Is it all right for a transsexual to come into your school and teach your little children to be transsexuals? Are you cool with that?
They don't have to teach them to be transsexual, but I mean, I wouldn't, if that was their teacher, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
You have no issue with that?
If that was
You have an issue with men having sex with animals?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, because it's not what I would do, but
Aren't
it's
you
not
part of the
their preference, it's
LBQC?
okay. LGBTQ, yeah, all of that.
So you agree with it?
That includes that.
I agree with what? Them having sex with animals? I
Bestiality
mean, if that's what they choose to do,
and
that's their preference, but it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, so it's okay for a man to have a little boy or a little girl? Yes?
No, have sex with no.
Hold on. Why? You're LBQT?
But if a man want to have sex with another man, then that's on him.
I don't want my kids to play with your kids.
Okay, that's
Because you
fine.
just said that a tranny could come into the school and teach my
Teach them how to
kid.
be transsexuals.
I didn't say that if that was their teacher.
Why is it
teaching them in the
needed
classroom,
for a
that's
person
fine,
of
because
an
that's
alternative lifestyle to come teach my kid how to read?
Nobody said it was needed, but if that individual chooses to be a professor or a teacher, they choose to go teach. at a
Nobody
school,
said it
that's
was needed,
fine.
but it's an initiative to do.
I mean, but that's your opinion, that's your perspective. I have a
You
different
probably don't
view,
understand what
like-
he's saying.
It was
They're
everybody's
transsexuals that are coming into school.
How's that my
You
opinion?
asked
Hold
me if I
on.
had an issue with it. I
They're
do not have an issue
transsexuals
with
that are coming into schools teaching kids to be transsexual.
So they're saying, oh, do you want to be a transsexual? They asking your kids,
teaching them
they're
how to
not
have a
teaching them
gender.
the knowledge that they're supposed to take in class. Like,
That's
they're
not
saying-
right.
They're just saying, oh, grow up
It's a
like me.
grown man with makeup on and a skirt with his rod out. When he sits down, the kids can see it. And he's reading to them.
Transgender.
Yeah, like the dude.
Whatever.
Transsexual, transgender,
Whatever.
they're the same thing.
And all of that stuff is an abomination.
Delusion
Okay.
and madness. Confusion.
They just said that.
I mean, at the end of the
They
day,
just said that.
It is confusion.
How is that fair to the kids? I didn't even learn sex education till I was a certain age, but now I'm 6, 7, 8 years old, and a alternative lifestyle man dressed as a woman is teaching me how to read. You don't think that's by
And the book
design?
he's teaching me is called Me, My Mommy, and Her Wife and I.
if my answer is going to consistently be no, I
That's
do
not.
not.
Oh,
okay.
my kids.
Okay, we're gonna read the scripture, then we're gonna get to the
You
book.
don't care about my son?
Read
Can he
it.
have a normal childhood?
Huh? Okay, read that scripture so we can get.
He's going to answer that question.
I didn't think she was.
Read that scripture and then we'll get to the book.
And then we got to talk. I didn't think you would say that.
That's right.
That's totally unfair to a kid that a tranny has to come in and teach him how to read.
This is the book of Zechariah.
That's unfair.
The book is My Mommy, My Wife and I.
What is that?
Read.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
So the Most High is saying 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off and die. If you decide you want to stay in that lifestyle, the Most High is going to, who you call Jesus, who you think of Jesus, he's going to, whatever, he's going to come down and destroy you utterly. He's going to kill you. That's what he's going to come to do to 2/3 of our people. He's going to come visit you, and it's okay. It's okay.
Believe Bob Marley Black.
Read it again. Read it again. Read it again.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die,
Utterly. Read.
but the third shall be left therein.
So 2 out of 3 people are going to be utterly destroyed.
That's right.
I mean, that smile is going to come off. I feel bad for you.
You don't have to feel bad for me. At the end of the day, like I said, it's about you.
I know I feel bad for you now. In that day, I won't. But I feel bad for you now because we tried to wake up. Go ahead. Shalom. Okay. Go ahead with your question.
I have a question. Yes. What are you going to do when you stand before God and He judges you, everyone in here, for your sins? Sorry? What are you going to do when you stand before God and you're judged for your sins?
What are you going to do?
Because the Bible says this. But if anyone causes one of my little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better that a large millstone be hung around their neck and they be drowned in the depths of the sea.
Kids, get out.
So this is child abuse to God. And you're going to stand before a holy God. And He's going to tell you, what are you going to do when you stand before God and poison these kids' mind? What are you going to do then? The Bible says, God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him will not perish but have everlasting life. Perish means to go to hell. Little kids need to believe in Jesus Christ. The Bible says, suffer not the little ones to follow me. These little ones need to be raised up in the Lord. These little ones need to be raised up in the knowledge of Jesus Christ. Because there's going to come a day when every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of the Father. The Bible says that men are men and women are women. And men shouldn't dress like women and women shouldn't dress like men. This is sin. And the Bible says that the wages of sin are death. I'm here to tell you today that you all are heading for spiritual punishment if you don't turn from your wicked ways and repent. The Lord has sent me here today to tell you to turn from your wicked ways or repent, or you're going to stand before God and you're going to be judged. And you're going to go into the gate and you're going to go into the lake of fire. Child abusers will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Fornicators will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Homosexuals will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Lesbians will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Adulterers will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. You're coming to a child's event. You're coming to a child's event and you're polluting their minds with their sin. Look how you dress. They're coming here willingly. You think this is the appropriate way to dress in front of a child? I'm covered. You are dressed like a whore in front of children. Are you teaching children to be whores?